The Warriors and the Lakers are currently in a battle in the second round of the NBA playoffs, and this series could mean a lot more than a lot of people think and actually hold a lot more value in the grand scheme of how the LeBron and Curry's career and legacies are going to be looked at once they're all done and retired. Obviously, probably the biggest reason that everybody knows is that this series could be directly the reason to why one player gets a fifth ring and the other player gets stuck with only having 4 rings. Now, I know I say only 4 rings, like that's not insane, but still, whoever wins the series legitimately has a chance to add another ring to their collection, which is a huge piece to any argument when you're debating on which player is better. Now, if you ask me, no matter what, LeBron is always going to be a better player than Curry. But if Curry retires with more rings than LeBron retires with, then there is going to be a very big and very legit argument anybody can make to say Curry had more success in the same era than LeBron did have. Now, yes, I wouldn't be taking into context of all the good teams Curry has and all that, and all the intricacies you could really get into it, but still, that is a major piece of an argument. And to really show you how important rings are when it comes to legacies and when you look back at someone's career to really judge how good they are, look at someone like Bill Russell, who played in the 50s and 60s, and he was able to get 11 NBA rings. They named the Finals MVP reward after him, and his name is going to be remembered for pretty much ever because the reward's named after him and because he has the most rings in NBA history. He literally has more rings than he has fingers, okay? So, he started overlapping himself, which is extremely impressive. Now, yes, he was on a great Boston team with, I think, Bob Cousy and Sam Jones, but no one really talks about them. Everybody talks about Bill Russell. Why? Because he has the 11 rings. His teammate Sam Jones, I think, has 8 or 10 or somewhere around there, and nobody talks about him. But Bill Russell has the most, so everybody remembers him, and they all talk about him as one of the greats. Now, yes, it is well-deserved, but that just showed you how valuable having a lot of rings can be when players and analysts, should I say, go back and look at your career as a whole. So if this series would directly lead to one player having more rings than the other, like Curry having more than LeBron, for example, then that is going to be an argument used against them for basically the rest of their life. Another example of why rings are so valuable is, look at the Michael Jordan versus LeBron argument. That's basically everybody's go-to. If they're defending Michael Jordan, they're going to say Michael has 6 rings, LeBron has 4, Michael is better. And that's the whole gist of most arguments for Michael Jordan. Now, yes, there's tons of other arguments you can make, and there's tons of legit gripes you can have with who the GOAT, and that's not a conversation I'm going to be getting into, and I don't care who you have as your GOAT, but that is a big piece to any argument when you do debate LeBron versus Jordan. So when you're looking back into the career and you're looking at rings, they do matter a lot, despite what anyone is trying to say. So really, I'm just trying to say, if one player like LeBron or Curry retires with 5 compared to the other one's 4 rings, that is going to be constantly used against them in every argument when both of their names are in the same conversation. And another reason why this series is so important to both LeBron and Curry's legacies, depending on who wins, is because this is probably the most even of a series they've ever really played against each other. Look at the first one they played. In the first finals, Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving went down. And obviously Cleveland lost because they only had LeBron. I think they lost in 6 games. And then the next year they won, and that was a pretty fair series, and they ended up coming back from down 3-1. And you could say that was a fluke series. You could say Golden State choked, and there was kind of an asterisk on that. Not really. For LeBron, it really helped his legacy, but for Curry, you can just say it was a fluke series. They shouldn't have lost. Draymond got ejected, and there was just a little bit of an asterisk on a few games. And then obviously the Kevin Durant era came after that, and that was just completely unfair, and no one had a chance to beat them. And then LeBron went on a streak of not making the finals, and then he made the finals in the bubble, but Golden State wasn't there. And now we're where we're at right now after Golden State won the title last year, and LeBron missed the playoffs that year as well. So this is really the first time they're both in the Western Conference, and they both have equally matched teams, where it's going to be Curry versus LeBron who really decides this series and where it's going to go. And with how equal the series is, a lot of people are going to be able to point to this and be like, well, LeBron couldn't beat Curry when it was equal teams, or Curry couldn't beat LeBron when it was equal teams, vice versa. And I think this is going to go a very long way to really determining whose era this is going to belong to in the pretty much the mass majority of people's eyes when they're looking back at this time a few years after both these players are gone and retired. And with how tight this series has been, now yes, I know there's been a few blowouts, but it's a 2-1 series. It's going into game 4. Golden State has to win this game, most likely to keep this a competitive series, and then they're going to go back home and no telling how the momentum is going to shift from there. But with how tight of a series this is, it's just getting more and more pressure built on top of it due to all the reasons I've already said, due to it just being a normal playoff series against two very big marketed teams that there's a lot of hype behind. NBA fan bases love them. So there's just so much pressure in this series that both players, Curry and LeBron, have to step up and play their best, because this is legitimately could be a legacy defying moment for both of these players. Now, am I saying that either one of these players' legacy is going to be ruined? Absolutely not. They're both multi-time MVP, multi-time champion, one of the best players, if not top 10 player each to ever live, okay? So their legacies will be far from tarnished if they lose, but if they are able to win this series and then go on to win a championship after it, it will go a long way to adding to their already both prestigious legacies, and I think that is a very big deal for both of these players, because at this point, they're not, yes, they want to win, obviously, I'm not saying they don't, but at this point, they have to be thinking we're getting to the kind of end of our careers. We need to start thinking about our legacy a lot, and I think that's something LeBron has already expressed he does multiple times, and I'm sure Steph Curry does as well. So I think they're both taking the series very seriously, and it should be a very, very fun series to watch. And I just think overall, this series means a lot more than just the second round series who wins and moves on to the Western Conference Finals. But unfortunately, guys, that's my first video. So comment below, do you agree with me? Do you think that this series means a lot more than just moving on to the next round? Are your thoughts in the comment section below? If you'd like to point, hit the like button and subscribe button, mean the absolute word to me. And I hope you have a blessed day, because I have a blessed day, so you need to have a blessed day. All glory to God. See you in the next video. Goodbye. Boo. Blah, blah.